How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific 3 Eastern, Sunday 3 Pacific 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it is Wednesday here on the show, and you know what that means? We got a lot to talk about today. We got a big episode of Dynamite tonight. 5 matches announced for the show, including a big match with a big stip. Stip time in AEW. We'll tell you about that. Also, we've got a bunch of other news, including there was a story about Thunder Rosa that came out a couple of days ago, and how she was offered a refereeing gig in WWE that would have required her to retire. We've got a lot of updates on that story, which we'll tell everybody about here today. Also, Ronda Rousey. One and done, baby. That was it. Does not look like she's going to be back in AEW. We'll give you an update about that. Plus, a lot of other news. The AEW schedule, the WWE. There actually is a WWE program that is up for an Emmy Award. They love their awards, so we'll see how it goes. And plenty more here today. Do want to wish the best to the family of Daniel Moody, who was the last remaining son of Paul Bearer, who passed away March 23rd, 39 years old. Apparently, he had undergone a medical procedure, and this was back in November. Suffered a major health crisis, had been in long-term care, and passed away. His other brother passed away in 2014, which was shortly after both of them appeared at the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony to induct Paul Bearer. His name was Michael. So just a lot of terrible things have happened with the family over the last decade. So all the best to all of them. And that is the story. We got a lot more after the break. Filthy Tom joins us back in a moment. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Jared, put old Granny on. Let's see what she's up to. Oh, man, she's doing something. Oh, Lord.
She's trying to plug in the box, Brian.
Granny can't connect. And so I call her on the phone, and she alerts us that she apparently knocked the box off her desk. Whatever's happening right there, that doesn't look good. She knocked down the camera now? What's going on?
She's got a hold of the camera, I think.
She's okay. Well, we've got the ceiling at least. There's the box. Hey, we got the box, Jared. Does it look like it's plugged in?
No.
It's definitely not on.
No.
Okay. That's her back, I believe. She appears to be doing something.
Apparently yoga.
That's her hair. Are we sure that's not Ric Flair? Now she's got to find the phone, too.
Think anyone's going to still subscribe after the show?
I hope we get a bunch of video signups. This is interesting.
Is it now?
Oh, man, we can almost see the front of the tie line to see if it's on. But we can't. We can only see the side of it, as well as a flashlight and dice. I don't know why there are dice there.
Well, you never know when you're going to play dice in the dark.
She's still doing something.
That's good radio, boss.
Show that again, what's she doing?
You know what's a good show is the Big Vinny V show.
Is it?
I reviewed Poet Armenia 2025.
She might be tying her shoe or something.
Ed and
down
San
there.
Antonio show.
Granny is furiously doing something. It's possible that we should sabotage the box every week.
No!
So that she can, get up and down, like Roddy Piper once said. No, I know. I'm calling you. Phone. I'm calling you. Oh, my God. How are you?
I'm exhausted. Oh, I want to tell Vinny I watched his show today.
Thank you, Granny. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
Good. That sounded very sincere.
Stunning review. Well,
Anyway.
can we please make that into a commercial, Jared, for Vinny's show? Apple Podcast carries every podcast that we produce.
Oh, I want to tell Vinny I watched his show today.
Thank you, Granny. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
Good.
So check it out, f4wonline.com/Apple. Try your free trial today. What is happening here? Yes, Granny?
I don't care if it's show or what. My computer went out and I can't fix it.
Okay. Jared, can you fix Granny's computer?
But he tried to get a pin.
I am Steve.
Brian, what are you doing?
Now my child is sending me a voice message.
Steel chicken jockey.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom is joining us here today. Tom, I would like to just start with how horrible this NXT show is, but unfortunately, I do have a couple of things I got to get out first because they're kind of exclusives here. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll talk about NXT. And Orange Crush is going to join us in the final segment of the show as well because he's got a lot to talk about, but
the penultimate segment.
The penultimate segment.
Not the final segment.
It's I don't count that last segment. That's not really a segment. So anyway, there's a big story out about Thunder Rosa and how WWE offered her a deal to be a referee and she'd have to retire. And there's been a lot of discussion online about this. And I did hear from some people that wanted me to clarify some things because there's also been a lot of misinformation. So essentially, the gist of the story is true. They offered her a tryout to be a referee, and she would have been paid $60,000 if she had passed the tryout. And here's what actually happened. So the first thing is this is not something that happened recently. This was something that happened in 2019. So apparently there have been stories about WWE trying to tamper with contracts, and they're trying to take this great AEW wrestler and make her a referee and this and that. This was an offer from 2019, okay? The offer was for $60,000 a year, and she would have been starting in NXT. And people have been outraged about that, about $60,000. But in 2019, if you were a wrestler in NXT, if you started as a wrestler in NXT, you were making $70,000. That was the beginning offer for a wrestler in NXT in 2019. They were offering her $60,000 to be a referee in NXT. And, there's been a lot of talk also about how, well, God, when you take into account, how much you have to pay for travel and how much you have to pay for this and that, I mean, that's barely anything. In NXT, first off, especially in 2019, if you worked for NXT, you were just in Orlando. You didn't have to go all over the place. You were just there. So there wasn't, excessive travel costs and excessive transportation costs and that sort of thing. And the other thing about NXT is that when they do travel, so for example, they're going to MSG for next week's show, theater at Madison Square Garden. The transportation and lodging is actually paid for by NXT. So when you're making $70,000, you're just making $70,000. It's not like, the main roster where you got to pay for your hotel and transportation and that sort of thing. In NXT, they 100% travel airfare, or they cover airfare and hotel. So $60,000 for the refereeing job at NXT. It's not as bad as it sounds on the surface. This idea that we get $60,000, and after all these expenses of travel and hotel, it's like $20,000. It was nothing like that. So it was a long time ago. She did agree to do the tryout, but it was 2019, and so you can probably all figure out what happened. The pandemic hit, and the tryouts were, first it was weather, and then it was COVID. And so essentially she never even made it to the tryout, which in the end worked out better for her because she ended up in AEW and had a very successful run, especially at the beginning. So that is the update on the Thunder Rosa story for everybody that's been reading things online. Those are basically all of the details. Also, I can confirm that Ronda Rousey is done with AEW. It was a one and done. And she showed up. It was in L.A. She's in L.A. Thought it would be an easy way to plug the upcoming fight with Gina Carano in May. She showed up. They immediately plugged the fight, and that's it. She has no further appearances. It's not like she can't come back, but there are no plans for her to be back. And when I saw what they did, I thought, well, they have to be setting up some match or something. I mean, she showed up, challenged Toni Storm. Toni Storm got attacked by Marina. I mean, Ronda laughed. It was like we had a big thing going here, left with the Death Riders. And, people were like, well, she's training. She can't possibly do a tag match. All right, well, fine. Could she be in Marina's corner? Could she do something? Apparently, nope. She agreed to that one night, and she's out of there. So that's it for Ronda Rousey. Any thoughts on any of this, Tom? Is that your air conditioner, by the way?
Yeah, it's going wild.
Good Lord.
It's probably over 100 degrees already outside. So, no, but also Gable Steveson signed with Real American Freestyle.
Yes, he
today.
did.
He's set to make his debut for the promotion May 30th in Dallas against Vacant. Yet to be determined. But I thought that was pretty interesting. I mean, Gable Steveson, when he left, was arguably the best wrestler in the world. He's been doing mixed martial arts in various forms over the past few years, but now going back to the amateur wrestling world where the scene has kind of changed. So it'll be interesting to see if he can remain at the top. I mean, he did lose to Wyatt Hendrickson in his last match, but that is under folk style rules, which is actually different than what Real American Freestyle does. But another news tidbit for you.
I couldn't. Somebody brought up today the irony that our old friend Eric Bischoff of Real American Freestyle made sure that I was on the mailing list for all of this news.
Good.
So there you go. Somebody's got to promote it, brother. Somebody's got to promote it.
I think they're doing better than you may imagine.
I'm not saying they're doing poorly. I just think it's ironic. So, anyway. All right. Is there anything? Let's see if there's any other very, very important news. Otherwise, we're going to talk about this horrible NXT show, or at least there's something I want to say about it before we get going. It doesn't look like there's anything of major note. Okay. This NXT show sucks, dude. Like, it sucks. This show last night was as bad as it was in 2025, when it was so bad that I compared it to, like, 2018, 2019 Vince McMahon, and, like, God, it's so bad. And here's the thing. It's like this Sol Ruca Zarya thing, dude.
Oh.
Guys, I told you well over a month ago exactly how this was going to go. I had people deny it. I had people say that's not what... Guys, I told you. And it's not like I'm some genius, guys. It's basic human psychology. It's like, it reminds me so much better. It reminds me, it's not gotten better. I'm sorry, that jumped on my screen right there. It hasn't gotten better. It's been better for a little while, but this week sucked. This thing with Zarya and Sol Ruca reminds me exactly of what happened with Becky Lynch. When they did that thing with Becky Lynch in, like, 2017, and, like, everybody loved her, and then they did the thing with Charlotte, and then they turned her heel, and nobody accepted it, and they were baffled as to why, and it was like, you're baffled because you're stupid. Like,
who's gonna punch Sol Ruca in the face?
God, this Sol Ruca
get
thing,
her career back on track.
like the Sol Ruca Zarya thing, it's like, it's so obvious what the fans are gonna do, and they just don't get it. They're booking Sol as a babyface. They think that Zarya is like the heel in this scenario. And it's like, first off, she's not. Second off, and this is what actually bothers me the most, you don't even understand your own audience. Your own, when you don't understand your own audience, there's a problem, okay? Not the wider wrestling, like your own audience. You have trained your audience that everybody deserves a belt if they work hard, okay? And what you've done is put Zarya in a position where she just can't get what she deserves. And it doesn't matter what story you're telling about it or whatever. You've paired her with someone who always wins and gets titles and does whatever. And this audience is waiting for Zarya to get what she deserves. And you keep taking it away. It doesn't matter if you think she's a heel or if you book her as what, like, that's what they are expecting and that's what they want. And so that's who they're going to get behind. God, back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Chat GPT, Smackdown review starring Filthy Tom and Bryan Alvarez.
Welcome back, you miserable wretches, to another disaster of an episode of Figure 4 Daily, the only show on the internet that's guaranteed to make your brain rot faster than watching one of these Smackdown episodes. I'm your host, Filthy Tom Waller, joined by the man who somehow manages to be more useless than a rubber knife in a prison fight, Bryan Alvarez. What's up, Bryan?
Let's not pretend you're the shining star of this operation. You're like a broken pencil. Pointless. And I don't even know I'm still here with you. Anyway, let's get to this train wreck of a Smackdown. Spoiler alert, if you were expecting a wrestling show, you've come to the wrong place. It was like watching someone fall asleep in real time.
You should know all about falling asleep, Bryan, since you've been half dead for years now. If enthusiasm was an Olympic sport, you would get a participation medal for showing up, but still lose.
I could tell the crowd was hyped for Drew, and Nakamura's music is always a banger, but it was just nothing. It's like watching a 5-minute commercial for a product you don't even want to buy.
And I bet the only thing that was more uninspiring than this match was your entire existence. Let's move on before I fall asleep right here on this microphone.
Tom, you think because you're a former fighter, that makes you a wrestling expert? You'd probably lose in a match with a traffic cone. Look, Jade's a star, but Liv Morgan, she's the human version of a please wait screen.
Liv Morgan is about as useful as a sandbag at a swimming pool party, who's like trying to make a turkey sandwich with no bread.
It's like the crowd went from yay to who's got the remote. Can we change the channel?
Liv Morgan's biggest move is making the audience wish for better things. She's like the human version of a wet sock. Nobody wants it.
I get it, Tom. You don't like fun. You don't like energy. You don't like anything that's not just sitting on your couch in your pajamas complaining.
More of the same.
Oh, we're back to more of the same, huh? Just like your wrestling career. More of the same, but somehow still a disaster.
Well, that's it, folks. SmackDown 2025 was more like SmackDown 2005. Same old stuff, same old disappointments. Join us next time when we tear apart something else for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, next time, Tom, maybe we'll actually have some real wrestling to talk about instead of whatever disaster this was. Until then, just remember, don't listen to Tom and don't watch SmackDown unless you hate yourself.
Whatever. It's your funeral.
What? I've never been so embarrassed doing this show as I was for the last 5 minutes. God. Listen, I got 90 minutes with Vinny tomorrow on the Bryan and Vinny show, and tonight with Dave. So, Tom, take us through NXT.
Listen, I just got to say before I do this review, I don't know if maybe I was in a bad mood last night. I don't know if maybe I drank too much. I didn't. I don't know if
I was going to say all of the above.
I just didn't want to watch a show because it was my wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
I don't know what the deal was, but this show sucked. It blew chunks. The booking is so horrific. It left me so angry during it, at the end of it. I hated this show. However, the first match was pretty good.
I mean,
Right?
it wasn't like the
that was
entire
the best
show
thing
was
on the show.
atrocious. It's mostly the booking.
It's not even the wrestling. I'm not even angry with the wrestling that I saw.
Like, I don't want...
It's the booking.
I don't like people getting fired from their job, okay? I'm not there yet where I think that someone should be fired. But I do think whoever is the head writer, if this is Johnny Russo or whoever it is, this guy needs to be demoted to, like...
Who is this guy?
Vice head
Who is
writer.
Johnny Russo.
And get somebody with a clue to play Vince McMahon to this Russo back in the 90s and, like, smarten this guy up. Like, God. Go ahead.
Ren QCC started off. Kendall Gray has actually relinquished the Evolve title, by the way. So she didn't even lose it. She just let it go, moved on, no longer on Evolve. But she is here in this tag match. She got the hot tag as the Ren QCC took on the Fatal Influence duo of Fallon Henley and Lainey Reed. Gray got the hot tag, the former USA Wrestling Women's Wrestler of the Year. Yes, that's correct. Tossed the heel duo around before they pulled off a great double team wheelbarrow hot shot. Lainey did a pump handle neck breaker over the knee, but Ren broke it up. Reed went for it again. Kendall hit a counter stunner, Judas effect. Lainey kicked out. Kendall locked on an arm bar. Lainey got out. Then she did a step up flying arm bar, spun over Lainey's head into the arm bar. Ren locked Fallon in the final wrench, the cattle mutilation, and they got the win like it was a luchador match. Both women submitting clean in the center of the ring. I thought this was fantastic. Great way to start the show. Fantastic piece of business. I missed Ren winning the Speed title last week. Kendall called out JC for the NXT Women's title. Instead, Lola came out, and it looks like we're going to get next week the MMA standout, Lola Vice, taking on the wrestling standout, Kendall Gray.
Yes.
Anything?
Well, we only
Brian?
got
Sorry.
like 6 minutes, so go ahead.
Yeah. Sol Ruka whined about Zarya making everything about her.
This segment sucked.
Sol said she always tried to make sure they were a team on equal footing. Zarya came out. She said all she ever wanted was for them to be together as a team. Well, guess what? If that's what both of you want, then just do it. Right? I want to be in a team with you. I want to be in a team with you. That's all that we want. Well, then why aren't you in a team?
You and I don't even like teaming, and we end up teamed up all the time.
The crowd cheered as Zarya said she was going to choose herself.
God.
Sol goes, you think I'm the villain? And the crowd goes, oh,
yes!
And Zarya said, Sol's not the villain in this story. She's the mistake. And she left.
And everyone cheered.
Yeah.
Like, as bad as this was, it was even worse because I guess they want Sol to get ready for long promos on the main roster. She's out there frickin' talking for like 10 minutes. And the crowd's either dead quiet or they're heckling her. And then they start getting more and more angry. And then by the time they finally bring Zarya, people cheer just because somebody interrupted.
Yeah.
And then Zarya's like a total babyface to these people. And then the more Sol talks, the more they hate her. And the more they... And I'm like, God, this is... You could see it coming a mile away, and you morons still did it.
Would you like to talk about another reversal of fortunes here in the women's division? As remember when Thea Hale won the NXT North American title, and the crowd went crazy?
Oh, yeah.
Well, she's here getting squashed by Kalani Jordan.
Yeah, of course.
This was not a speed match, but Kalani beat her within the time limit, then beat her down, put her in an Americana, and then Jada Parker made the
classic
save.
example. I mean, she was handed to you on a silver platter by accident. Like you had something, and it was just like, well, we got to fix this. We got to fix this problem that someone new got over.
They gave her the gimmick of young, grizzled veteran complaining about not making it to the top in enough time when she's 21 at first, and now they're just burying her. Jasper Troy, he's a babyface now. I like him better already.
Jasper Troy and
he's a
Keanu
natural
Carver have switched roles with like no storyline. They just switched.
Well,
I guess
Keanu
attacking
Carver,
Booker.
Yeah. Jasper Troy is already better as a babyface.
Yes, he is.
I did not expect that. Shiloh Hill stalked Blake Monroe, gave her exact whereabouts to Tatum Paxley. Seems illegal. There was the North American title shot gauntlet. Shiloh Hill.
Oh my God,
Deion
dude,
Lennox.
Hold on.
Okay.
This was, I swear to God, Vince Russo would have been like, no, hold on.
This, oh my
We are
God.
not doing this tonight.
I'm just remembering what this
is far
Terrible.
too stupid for WCW Thunder in the year 2000. We ain't doing it, brother.
This is manure.
Horrible.
This is terrible.
Atrocious.
Shiloh Hill beat everybody in the match. He probably should have just won. Instead, Johnny Gargano was pushed by Candice LeRae, and he planked on top of Shiloh Hill and beat him.
Yeah. They
Dude,
brought up.
I'm willing to get a fine or something today for this show. Holy crap!
I feel like I should mute myself.
What?
Johnny was brought out as the 5th mystery guy, and the place is going absolutely wild that Johnny Wrestling has returned to NXT. He then proceeds to just go catatonic on the apron for the entire match. Shiloh is the last guy standing, and Candice pushes Johnny, who falls onto him and gets the pin.
This sucked.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
This sucked.
This was the
sucked.
God.
Hey, none of the refs want to ref Keanu Carver and Jasper Troy next week. So Robert Stone's like, okay, hey guys, that's your job. That's, if you get hired for $60,000 a year in NXT to ref, you show up and you ref the freaking match.
Yeah, this was stupid.
You don't go, no, we can't do it. It's part of the game.
Stupid.
The culling took on Los Americanos. Los Americanos were apparently on standby backstage.
Yes.
Because Eli Knight and Elio LaFleur got beat up by who knows. They won. They beat
Good
the
match, but nobody cared at all, even with Los Bravos in there.
And then the main event sucked.
Actually, hold on. I got to mention one thing because we got a little extra time. They did a show-long storyline where Tatum Paxley said, I have got to find Blake Monroe. It is an emergency. I need to find her tonight. Shiloh Hill goes, well, I'm a hacker. I can find her. You know, she posted something on social media. I can just geotag it and tell you exactly where she's at. So they do this whole show-long thing. And finally, at the end of the show, where is Blake? In a bath at like a hotel or something. So Tatum shows up, knocks on the door. Blake cracks it open, but there's a chain, so the door doesn't open all the way. And Tatum sticks her head in, and she goes, we're doing a face-to-face next week. You better bring my belt. And then she leaves, and I was like, that was the emergency. That was the emergency.
That's also illegal.
You had to tell her to bring the belt next week? That was the emergency? God!
The best thing on the show was next. And that was the announcement that Sexy Red will be returning to NXT. God. Booker T, he needed, they needed to back up a truck of saltpeter for this guy. They needed to bring out, cases and cases of Kellogg's cornflakes and make him sleep in them for weeks because he was losing it at the thought of seeing Sexy Red in person again. And then Ricky Saints took on Tony D, and you know what? It was a DQ.
Yeah, it was. A disqualification. A chop block DQ in the main event. Appallingly bad. And this sets up a four-way for the title at Stand and Deliver.
Why does it set up a four-way? Joe Hendry runs down and make the save for Tony D. I don't know why. Ethan Page and Ricky Saints are laying into Tony D. Joe Hendry lays them all out. And then Robert Stone goes, well, because of this, we're going to have a four-way for the title. No one has proven themselves as a worthy challenger for Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry came out and beat up all three of these guys at the end of this. Ricky Saints and Ethan Page, Ricky Saints would have lost to Tony D, so he cheated so that he lost anyways because Ethan Page got involved. So they are rewarded with a title match. Robert Stone, come on. What are you
That was the Ava spot.
Where is Ava?
God.
Give us Ava back, please. Stone. Oh.
I swear to God, this show should be studied. It's so awful. We didn't even run down half the segments. We didn't run down that twice on this show. They did, the very beginning of the show, it opens up, I swear to God this is true. Shiloh Hill is asking Mr. Stone if he could be first in the Gauntlet Eliminator. Tatum shows up and says Blake has stolen the title and it's an emergency. Shiloh says, I'll help you with that. They leave. Briggs walks up and says, I need to talk to Stone. A ref walks up and says, no, Stone, I got to talk to you. Stone walks away. This was 40 seconds. These 5 things happen. 40 seconds, these 5 things happen. And then later in the show, if I can even find it here, Stone's with the Vanity Project. They want to know who's replacing Eli and Elia. Stone says, I have a team on standby. Briggs walks up, says, I want to talk. Stone says, no, I've talked to the ref. The ref says nobody wants to referee this match. Stone says, we'll figure it out. Jada wants a match with Kalani. Stone says, okay. 4 things happen in 57 seconds.
Josh Briggs is going to ref that match.
I hate this show. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Let's do this unnecessary censorship.
Talk about your Psalms. Talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says, I just your ass.
That was terrible. Horrible. They weren't the Heart Foundation. They weren't the British Bulldogs, okay? They're 2 geeks. And this celebration these guys did.
Oh.
I mean, they're like, Sean, give me brother. Yeah.
A place like that?
You 2 dorks. That's what you did. Why are you so excited?
Because they're awesome.
Okay. That was better than the first one.
It picked up at the end there.
Yes.
Unnecessary censorship.
He beat him, and 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 he beat him. I'm sweating.
Time to stop.
And he beat him,
Was this edited?
and then he beat him, and he
I don't
beat
think so.
him. I actually wore that shirt. It just says he beat him, he beat him, he beat him all the way down. Like,
All the way down, you say?
I dropped her off at camp, and the camp counselor just looks at me. She goes, he beat him and beat him. I was like, gag gift.
Brian, would you for me again this week? It's too hot to do much.
That's true. It is too hot to do much.
I guess I just better do it because it came up for me.
I'll wait.
It won't come up again. It's pretty short, so I'll just do it. Yeah. Now I gotta find it back.
Okay.
It isn't
Dale, I'm
coming
gonna
up.
kill you. How about you just it? Okay.
Ouch.
What else we got, Vinny? I love that Granny licks her finger to turn the page. Lick that finger. There'll be
Page
an
2.
unnecessary censorship coming up. Lick that. Okay, let's see. Unnecessary censorship.
So Oro Ethan after the match and gets his ass just into the earth.
Vinny.
And Ethan is leaving, holding his all confident. And then Oro just comes back to life, and now he Ethan's ass.
Oro jumps him from behind.
Yep.
Then he his ass after cheap shotting the guy. Haha. That was interesting. That's quite unnecessary. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom Lawler is joining us here today. And soon we will be joined by Orange Crush. Having a connection issue right here, but I will get this going as quickly as I can. Tom, is there anything else like you add about how much NXT sucks while we're waiting? Where are you?
Excuse me? About how bad NXT sucks? No, I'm good, man. I'm so just done and over it.
Well, what can you tell us about Produce as we're waiting for Orange Crush here?
Well, I can tell you that there's an exclusive number of events coming up under the Produce label. The first one will take place June 29th, and that is Produce Octopus, which will be headed by, of course, the Octopus himself, Jonathan Gresham, who we saw.
What a match he had this weekend.
Yeah, we saw this past weekend. And for somebody who's coming off of a physical ailment, it was reported that he had a stroke just months ago. He had a great match, but the thing that impressed me the most was he hit the best shooting star press, which is not something that you're thinking of when you think of Jonathan Gresham. But he did the best shooting star press that I have seen live and that I can remember.
Yeah, this match with him and Alan Angels at the Relentless show this weekend. Apparently, Chris Daniels helped put that thing together. Actually, he helped put together a few of the matches, I think, including that Good Brothers match, which was also awesome. So, yeah. Hey, we got Orange Crush joining us here today. How you feeling, Adam?
Hey, I'm feeling good. Hey, Brian. Hey, Tom.
What's
thanks
going
for having
on?
me.
Sounds a lot better than I expected. Hey, we got a lot to talk about here today. We were just actually talking about your... what would we call it? An organization?
Yeah, Produce is a new promotion that I'm launching here in the New York City area this summer.
What is Produce? And tell us more about where the name came from.
Well, Produce is a bit of a play on words because people do refer to me as Orange Crush. That's the name of my imprint, as well as kind of the promotional company in which I put shows on under the auspice of. But also, Produce shows in Japan are shows that are put on by singular wrestlers kind of in their own vision. So that's a model that I'm adapting here in the United States with the promotion that I'm launching this summer.
Yeah, I saw the announcement yesterday. Nick Gage, it says, has been named the commissioner of produce. And as soon as I read that, I pictured him in my grocery store. Like he's the guy in charge of the apples, but he's apparently the guy in charge of this thing, right?
Well, he's in charge of enforcing the rules.
Man.
We are adapting a unique kind of rule set for the promotion. I've been thinking about ways to frame professional wrestling in a way that makes sense more logically to new fans.
So not NXT.
No, not NXT,
Okay.
not TNA,
Thank
not
God.
any of the kind of existing, rule sets that exist in professional wrestling. It's not something as intensive as World of Sport or, a round system or anything like that, but just kind of little tweaks on the rules that are more reflective of sports in general.
Can you reveal any of them here, or is this?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to implement things like red card, yellow card with the referees. So they have at their discretion the ability to warn people singularly and then, throw a match out if things get out of control using the card system and alerting the crowd. Beyond that, we are also going to not allow any run-ins. And when I say that, it isn't notional. If you interrupt a match, it'll be as if, you're at Pride or UFC and you try to interrupt a match. Security will beat you up and take you out of there. And that's under the direction of Nick.
One of my favorite moments in the history of any sporting event was back during the Bo Holyfield fight when the fan man tried to fly in and all the security just mobbed him and beat the crap out of the guy on the apron. So I can just imagine Nick Gage leading a horde of people screaming MDK as they beat up some nerd trying to interrupt a match.
Maybe you can be one of those people.
I will not be doing that because I will be doing another job on those shows, Brian.
And what would that be, Tom?
I will be at the booth providing
Wow.
color commentary, and that will be alongside a man who's, I will say, an illustrious co-host, and that is Walker Stewart.
Wow.
Yeah, we're busting out the big guns for Produce. The first show is June 29th in New York City at Pioneer Works, which is really a unique venue that no one professional wrestling has ever run before. It's kind of a museum-like space that hosts a lot of major exhibitions, concerts, book readings, in an old kind of industrial factory in South Brooklyn. And I'm really excited to, kind of bring wrestling into that space, because part of my whole, purview is trying to frame wrestling as an art form and really focusing on the in-ring as something that should be kind of studied and taken more seriously and talked more about among the fan base. So this really is a great place to frame it that way. And I think Walker and Tom are great voices to lend that credibility to the action.
It's interesting, and I want to pick your brain about this, if I may. So there's like a lot of extremes in wrestling. And if you watch a WWE show, there's probably going to be, DQs on every show. If you watch an AEW show, you're literally almost never going to see a DQ. They do like 1 or 2 a year. And, obviously, you don't want to do the WWE way where it's like, my God, there's so many screwy finishes. Like every single match has a screwy finish. But then on the other side, it's like, well, AEW doesn't do DQs. So in order to do storylines, they still have run-ins in most of the matches. And because they don't do DQs, you will see far fewer matches where they'll put 2 stars against each other, because they don't want to beat either guy, but they also don't do countouts and disqualifications, which WWE does. So, there are benefits to allowing run-ins and DQs and everything like that. You just don't want to go crazy with it. But you are going with, there are no run-ins. There are no what's like the DQs and countout situation.
The countout situation is that there's a 20 count outside the ring. The DQ situation is that it's at the discretion of the referee. So the referee will give a singular warning, which is a yellow card, if someone breaks the rules kind of egregiously. And if they're fed up with it, if they feel like the match is no longer under control, if they feel like someone is just incomplete, is being completely obstinate in terms of following the rules, they'll throw a red card to end the match. And I think from a psychology perspective, then the mechanisms of the red card and yellow card become a storytelling element of the match, as opposed to being a cop-out. It's a way, it's a spot that people can work around or work into. So it's just as legitimate a finish or something that is kind of mechanized by the wrestlers.
And I guess it is easier in the sense that you're not running a twice weekly 2-hour show. So it's not like, with a show like that, I mean, you need different booking avenues to put things together. How often are you planning? Is it going to be monthly? Is this going to be, what's the plan?
Well, right now, the plan is to do 4 shows over the course of the summer. So between the end of June and the beginning of September, there'll be 4 shows. So about every 2.5 or 3 weeks in the New York City area. It'll essentially be a residency. 2 shows at Pioneer Works in Brooklyn, and then 2 shows in Jersey City at the White Eagle Hall, where we've had shows like the Jersey J Cup, for example, in the past. And I think what's really important to note about these rules is that regardless of how often I were to run, kind of doesn't matter. There's an internal logic to it in training the fans to understand what they're going to expect to see. And that's like a sports-based presentation in terms of how it's marketed, how the wrestlers are promoted, how you know what you're going to see pretty well in advance of the show in terms of matchups. It's really focused on the talent. And there's a consistent logic throughout on every show. So if we ran every day or we ran every week, you can be just as creative with finishes. It's just a question of how you use the rules that are given to you and how the referees interpret them.
Do you have I'm trying to think of what the word would be. Maybe a promotion you've watched in the past that you're kind of basing this on, or an idea that you've seen in some promotion somewhere, or what was the basis for all of this?
I would say that the aesthetics of the promotion and the way that will promote the matches in terms of there being the pomp and circumstance, the gaga that happens will likely be before the bell and after the bell. And then bell to bell, it'll be really action focused, right? So maybe say it's Pride
right? In certain ways, how it's presented, outside of the bell to bell. But then in the course of a regular match, it'll probably feel more like Mid-South, NWA, Ring of Honor, something of that nature.
And what about broadcast?
For broadcast, I'm pleased to say that I have a deal with Triller TV. We're going to be doing pay-per-views with them at an affordable rate, either at $14.99 per show. We're also going to do a season pass for the summer for all 4 shows for $50.
So what made you decide it's time to be a promoter?
Well, I've been a promoter, Brian. I've been the booker and co-owner of Jersey Championship Wrestling for 5 years, working alongside Brett. I put on a show earlier this year called Superpower Slam at the Melrose Ballroom in New York City, which was a massive autism benefit. But I'm also working kind of very deeply in both media and events in my regular job, owning a PR marketing firm here in New York. And with the museum show that I'm curating next year, the MFA St. Petersburg in Florida, like this kind of curated approach to pro wrestling has been heavy on my mind, like in terms of like how I've been working with JCW essentially as like a creative outlet, an experimental space for me to work out ideas, really getting a sense of how social media works, how fans interact with talent, how they're being serviced, how they're not being serviced, and also this culture of like connoisseurship amongst fans, which has really been muddied and lost in this kind of age of abundant information. So one of the things that we're doing is really trying to retrain the audience to understand who these wrestlers are, what they're known for, and then also like who their influences are. So for example, this week on our YouTube channel, we dropped our first mixtape of Darian Bankston, who's one of our young stars. So I asked Darian, I was like, what are your best 5 matches that people can watch for free on YouTube currently that I can just link to on a playlist? Not even, utilizing other people, like directing traffic to other promotions to help embolden their viewership. And he did. So that's one element of the thing that we'll be doing. And then secondly, I'm going to have him curate a playlist of publicly available matches by people that influenced him. So people can understand his style, how he wrestles, his history, and then also the history of pro wrestling and how that informs the matches.
All right, stand by. Back in a moment with more Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. I think this show was like the best and worst of AEW.
The earliest story of this show was somebody almost died in every match. I thought MJF's head was going to fall off his body.
It looked like he put his own head into the mat as hard as he could.
Momo kicks Mercedes. Mercedes might have a bruised larynx.
I was certain Swerve had broken his neck.
Man, this dude landed right on his head.
Mariah May versus Toni Storm.
Good Lord.
Mariah gets her hands on a champagne bottle and smashes it right into Tony's crotch.
Some guy in the front row holds up a sign that goes, "For the sickos!"
It sure was.
It's like, well, goddamn, this was for the sickos, all
as
right.
sick as you can get.
Yes.
I did not have glass to the vajayjay on my bingo card.
I don't know why not.
I certainly hope not.
You should have.
What kind of bingo are we playing over there? And the 2 big screens just read, "The End." This, in hindsight, absolutely should have ended the show.
Maybe it should have. However, I can't guarantee that this match was going to be this good with this much heat 5 hours into the live show.
Well, there's that.
Following all those matches we saw. Like,
true.
every time people say this should main event, it's like, are you sure you want that? Then we had Takeshi and Kenny. Another incredible match.
What is up with they have an announcer that wears a mask?
Oh, no. God, please, not this.
What
Anyway, the match.
What is that about?
I actually was fixing to give Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher the highest star rating on the show, but I would say that by the last 3-4 minutes, I was like, well, you did a little too much here. People are going to be mad, but it's true. We didn't need the Spanish fly off the top of the cage. This match would have been as good or better without it.
The penis first styles clash into the tax.
That should be a finish.
That should be a career ender. It is tomb silent.
Oh, yeah, this crowd's dead.
They've seen every single goddamn thing 2 human beings can do to each other, and now men are grappling.
And Jason here goes, it's go away heat, Brian. He sucks. Listen, do you guys know what go away heat is?
Listen.
There were 11,000 people in this building. It's just like when people hated Jericho. There still is no evidence that he actually ran anybody off. They just didn't want him. Like, there's a difference. You want a different champion, but who is quitting AEW because Jon Moxley retained tonight?
Put the belt on Swerve immediately, as soon as possible. It could be me. It could be you. It could be Mark. Anyone.
I don't want it.
Just, it's run its course.
All right. Golly, this Moxley has heat with these people. What did you think, Mark?
Oh, I'm coming for you now.
I punched him in the diverticulatus. Pissed like a sprinkler.
Go
Back
out, and
forth,
we are going to do
back
what was
and
billed.
forth.
No, not like this.
There was more. There was.
It's not for me. Why do you like it?
No,
so
Jason.
much? Are you guys on Tony's payroll?
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Adam Abdallah is joining us here today, Orange Crush. I've tweeted out some info on Produce Volume 1, The Octopus, which is coming up on June 29th. And Adam, let's get some plugs out for how people can learn more about a new concept.
Absolutely. So June 29th, Monday at Pioneer Works in Brooklyn, New York, we're going to have Produce Volume 1, The Octopus, curated by Jonathan Gresham, featuring Jonathan Gresham versus Fuminori Abe, LeBron Cozone versus Hot Sauce Tracy Williams, Diona Perazzo versus Liza Hall, as well as Effie and Mance Warner with Steph DeLander against Mad Dog Connolly and Beastman. And then we're going to follow that up on July 16th at the White Eagle Hall in Jersey City with Tyga Style, Lee Moriarty's Produce show, where he will face Jonathan Gresham one-on-one in a rematch from Superpower Slam, as well as a historic match between Effie and Fred Rosser, and more. On the call on those shows, we'll have Walker Stewart and Filthy Tom Lawler with Beta Scott doing interviews ringside and much, much more. And you can get tickets to the first show at pioneerworks.org and to the second show at the White Eagle Hall's website in Jersey City.
Yep, and all that is up at Produce NYC on Twitter, at Produce NYC. You can go to my Twitter as well, at Bryan Alvarez, and we'll got some stuff up there retweeted, including how you can get tickets. And we're going to have you back on again soon to talk about probably this show and many others. So best of luck. Best of luck with this first one and all the rest to come. Thanks for doing the show today, Adam.
That sounds great, guys. Thank you so much.
And, of course, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back in an hour after Dark Radio. And we'll talk to you next time, Wrestling Observer Live.